Okay, so it's time for another Q&A. I haven't done one in a while and the channel has grown a lot, trading has grown a lot, Twitter, Instagram, everything has grown a lot, so it's time to answer some of your questions. So, first of all, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? What do you want to achieve? So, the main thing that is regarding to trading that I want to achieve definitely is going into the private capital side of things. I want to be managing at least 10 to 20 million in the next 5 to 10 years. So we'll see how that develops, obviously. I also want to continuously grow this channel, continuously grow the brand, and also, again, as that will be a side effect of me growing in trading. So that's why my main focus ever since the beginning was trading. And so yeah, that's really where I see myself in 5 to 10 years. It's managing way more capital. And then in terms of life, I have a lot of big numbers in terms of net worth that I want to achieve. And with that, not only net worth, but also business and so on. Right now, my main focus in these next 2 to 3 years is position myself in a way that I am set for life in terms of finances. So that's where I see myself in 5 to 10 years. I see myself already having a family, having financial security, not only for me, but also my family. And yeah, hitting all these numbers that I have in my mind. High win rate, but 1 to 2 risks to reward, or high risk to reward with low win rate? Well, for me, it was funny because there was a time where I was always aiming for the 10R and I was entering in like 2 pip stop and so on. And even though it was profitable, it was so demanding on the mind to be willing to take loss after loss after loss until you take that big winner. And so ever since I started going for the 1 to 2, 1 to 1.5 sometimes, but the trades are actually good and the strike rate is actually quite high, I've really saw a big shift in my trading profitability and payouts with prop firms. That's also the other thing, because before, if you have a low strike rate and you pair that with the fact that you have the drawdown of prop firms, those are two things working against you. And so right now I saw so many more withdrawals from prop firms, so many profits and etc. from having a low risk to reward but a high strike rate, that it's now become ingrained in my mind that that's what I want. So yeah, overall I'm now constantly going for the low risk to reward but high strike rate. How much risk is better on a funded challenge, 0.5% or 0.25? I've done a whole video on the risk management for prop firms, so I would recommend checking that out. And again, since you said challenge, it really depends on what challenge you are going for, if you're comfortable with the challenge or not. Now, because challenges have been on the background, I've been risking 2% on them with a trade copier. But I would recommend people stick to 1 or less. So that's something to keep in mind. Do you believe someone can truly be a full-time trader and make a living off of it? Yes. I definitely do, but I think that most people that are trying to do that probably can't, which means that you can make a living out of trading, but if that is really like the make or break, then there's going to be so many psychological hurdles that you have to go through. If you are not well set in your life, in your finances, and you're trying to make it through trading, it's going to be very, very hard. So that's why I recommend always having something on the side before then actually seeing returns from trading and then making the decision to go full time. So I would be very careful with that. I would say the probability of that happening is low. For the people that I know maybe 10 people that did it. Obviously they did it through prop firms, which again, that's why they were a big blessing, and we'll talk about the prop firm situation soon, which again, links in the description. But yeah, in general, it's not an easy task to do, but I truly believe that it is possible. For example, this ties into this next question. No money, poor country, trying to compound the account, best way to do it. I don't know, like when you don't have money and you don't have a job, or you have a job but the pay is so low and etc. I think your main goal is not really to compound the account. It's not to compound the account, it's to actually become a good trader in that small account that you have, and then look for outside sources. Don't think that you are now going to deposit $1,000 into an account, and all of a sudden you are going to compound that into a big amount. That is most probably not going to happen unless you take big risk. And if you already don't have money, you shouldn't be taking big risk in trading either way. Either you shouldn't be trading right now, or you should actually trade but also become the asset, which means become a consistently profitable, and then look for other sources. But again, this is where it's a tricky situation. People need to understand that your goal shouldn't be to flip $100 into $1 million. Price action versus ICT, I believe everything is kind of the same in trading. So what would I say? Would you ever start a course? I would say yes, eventually that will happen. It's something that is in my mind, but again, my goal from the get-go from this channel, and I've said this to a million people, is that I want everything backing me up before I do something like that. And once I do, it's going to be the highest quality you've seen in a long time. And again, this is where it comes down to the, is it ethical, is it whatever? And I would say that if you have the results to back it up and you're actually doing what you're preaching, yes. But if you're doing it through fake marketing, then no. And that's the problem with social media, is that people do it through fake marketing and they sell you something that they themselves are not doing. So that's something to keep in mind. When did you pass your first challenge? My first challenge, I passed it 1 year into my trading, but I also never withdrew from that challenge. So the first time that I withdrew from a challenge was, I believe, 2 years into my trading journey. And even then I ended up blowing that account. So it's been 3.5 years until I consistently started withdrawing from prop firms. Have you moved to Dubai permanently? Not yet, but I'm looking to do that in 2024. Do most strategies work, but it's the trader who messes things up, or the opposite? I actually do believe that most strategies work, but most people don't have what it takes to make the strategy work. If you really think about it, most strategies are basically a break and retest, or support and resistance, or fake outs, whatever it is. At the end of the day, if you show me 100 different strategies and you show me screenshots of the trades that they're taking, you will see that most of them are super similar. You wait for a breakout, you wait for a retest of an EMA, of a fair value gap, of a resistance, etc. It all ends up being the same, an order block, whatever it is. So I definitely do believe that most of the problems come from the trader and not the strategy. Do you recommend lit or ICT? I don't know what lit is, so yes, I do recommend ICT. Been trading 3 years now, finished high school this year. What advice do you have for me as a young trader? Well, I would say it depends on where you are at right now with your trading, because the main thing people need to take note of is that pressure builds diamonds, but that's not the case in trading. And so this is where you kind of have to decide if you want to go for university or not. What I would say is that if you really want to, there is the option of you taking a gap year and then going for university in the next year if needed. But I would say for you as a young trader, keep at it, because you are 3 years in, which is great. But also keep in mind that this is not the end all be all, in that going for university or getting a job is not something bad, which is what we are put into our minds to believe, but I don't think that that's the case. So that's what I would say. Honest thoughts about living in Dubai now that you've been there for nearly a month. I love Dubai. Dubai is definitely the place I want to stay in the next couple of years in my life. The weather is not amazing, but I can take it. The people are amazing. The streets are amazing. The restaurants are amazing. Everything is really, really nice. And you don't need to spend a lot of money to be here in Dubai, to be fair. The people that you meet are mostly worth it. The rent is going to be a little bit higher, so in Portugal, but it's the same price as Portugal, that's the thing. So rent is not that high if you keep that in mind, in my mind. If I want a 2-bedroom in Portugal, I'm at least paying 1,500 euros if I'm in Lisbon or Porto, which is the same thing here. So I would rather be in Dubai than paying that type of rent in a country that doesn't support their people, does not have great networking events, etc. So to me, It's mostly I want to be here. So yeah, I love Dubai. I love Dubai. What is your plan after losing a trade? Do you allow yourself to enter another trade? Well, this is where you need to understand yourself. So myself, I know that I'm willing to take 2 losses per day. But then if I take 2 losses per day, then I kind of have to reflect a little bit. For example, just yesterday I took 2 losses and it was on a private live stream and it was fine. But again, I knew that if I were to trade more that day, that it would have just been emotional. So I limit myself to 2 losses in a day, which is 2%, and I'm more than happy to take a break after that because more trades will appear. So that's something that I just keep in mind. What do you think about a fixed 1-to-1 risk to reward? Again, if you can do it with a high strike rate, then I don't see why not. Going forward, are you still going to use prop firms? Of course. Like, I guess this is the right question to talk about the situation with prop firms. And so ever since the beginning, I said that there are risks with prop firms. Something cannot just be great and not have downsides. And so what we saw happening is that now regulation stepped in. It's not even regulation, it was a lawsuit, which is different. And the biggest one went down. What I say to myself and also to other people, which you have to keep in mind, is that, okay, now we've been exposed to a bigger problem that may appear with prop firms, which is they may simply go down, right? That's something to keep in mind. And so if you are putting $200, $400, $500, $1,000 into a prop firm, into a challenge, you need to put in your mind that there is the possibility of you losing that money. Now, the thing with prop firms, and I need you to understand this, is that the risk has always been capped. The risk has always been how much you are putting into a challenge. And so if all of a sudden a prop firm goes down, that is the same risk as you were taking before. So either you fail the challenge and you lose the money you've put in, or you pass the challenge, you get a withdrawal, and then you get the refund. So that's already risk-free, which is the stage that I'm currently at with all the prop firms that I have, besides one challenge. So this just adds another variable, which is you are doing the challenge and the prop firm goes down. Like, this is always something that we've kept in mind. This is always something that I've said in terms of, listen, there are some prop firms that are bad and they will not pay you out, or they will go down and they will rug pull. Well, I guess this was a CFTC rug pull, which is different. But again, prop firms in my mind, from what I know as a consumer, because I don't know anything that happens on the back end, it's all speculation in my mind, prop firms still have a good risk reward, which means you are still putting $400 in for the possibility to trade $10,000 worth of equity, which is a 100K account, but 10% drawdown. There you go. That's the equity that you have. So to me, that's still good, especially because you receive your first payout and you receive the refund. So in my mind, it's still a good risk to reward. I'm still going to use it. The links are going to still be in the description, in the ones that I believe are still going to be there long term, but I don't know. That's the thing. People ask me, what is a reputable firm right now? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because this regulation part is something that is way out of my league to understand. So that is what I'm putting in my mind. What strategy do you use and do you share it? I mostly trade ICT. I trade with daily bias and manipulation. So I trade with daily bias. I know what my targets are, and the manipulation. So I wait for the market to manipulate twice against my bias, and then I enter in line. But again, eventually maybe I'll release something. How do you stay in drawdown and still not deviate from your plan? Well, again, for example, right now I'm in drawdown in 2 of my prop firm accounts. And what I think is that, okay, that's drawdown. It's what happens. It doesn't matter how high your strike rate is, because no one is going to have a 100% strike rate. You are still going to have drawdown. So for example, me that is aiming for a 70% strike rate, I still can expect like a 3-trade drawdown, a 4-trade drawdown. It's still possible mathematically. So that's something that I just keep in mind, that I keep trading. I look back into my plan and I'm like, okay, this was according to plan, this was according to plan, this one wasn't. Okay, this is where I could improve, this is how I could avoid as big of a drawdown. So for example, yesterday I entered in 2 trades, euro dollar and dollar CAD. I knew that euro dollar already had its delivery and that dollar CAD had more upside. Still, I entered in both, and then the bigger loss that I took was on euro dollar. So that's something to keep in mind. So again, I just think back to my strategy, I look at the maths, and I'm like, okay, this is just part of it. How would you restart building capital if you had nothing and no job? Well, I would get a job. Again, which prop firm is good? We've talked about it. I don't know yet, which is a problem, but I guess we will have to wait and see. Will you be attending the Forex Expo in Dubai? Yes. Actually, it's, what are the dates? Yeah, 26 and 27, and I'm actually leaving on the 28th. So it's actually really perfect timing. Max bench, deadlift, and squat. So my max squat is 150 kilograms. I've already did 160 kilograms, which is around 300 and something pounds. Max bench is 225 pounds, which is around 100 kilograms. In deadlift, my max deadlift was also around 160 kilograms, which is also around 300 and something pounds. Your next top 3 goals. So my next top 3 goals is definitely YouTube subscriber count, payouts of prop firms, and revenue from this year. How much is the healthy return per month for funded accounts? Dude, if you can do 2% on a 100k account, most people are set, like that's their bills paid. So 2 to 5% is amazing on even on a 100k account. So again, 2 to 5% per month is amazing. If you can profit every single month, that's amazing. Every single quarter, let's not think about months. If you can profit every single quarter, that's already amazing. What is your risk per trade? So right now I'm 1 million in funded. I take my accounts in 200k chunks. So I trade 200k, 200k, 200k. And every 200k I risk 1%. So I trade one 200k account at a time and I risk 1% until I get a payout. How many pairs do you trade? Mostly euro dollar, but then I also add pound dollar and dollar CAD and other pairs if needed. For example, Aussie dollar. But I would recommend most people just stick with one pair. What's the worst and best part of moving to Dubai? Best part is that you just have a fire in you to work, make money, whatever it is, and meet other people. The worst part, I would just say that it's when it's really hot outside and you get into a coffee shop or something and you just get a huge like woo of AC and like cold. That's the worst part. But again, I love Dubai. I love Dubai. Everything about Dubai. How long are prop firms going to be around? Again, I don't know. I would love to know, but I don't know. Do you use the silver bullet? What are your thoughts on it? I don't really have thoughts on it. I haven't back tested it. I haven't seen it. I know that it's like between 1 hour of the market, you wait for a fair value gap and you enter in line with the bias, I believe. So it's definitely profitable, I would say. Give me a second. That is food. So let's just answer 2 more questions. How do you handle 9% drawdown? I try not to get into 9% drawdown from the get-go, but if you want to keep the account, again, reduce risk and try to crawl out of drawdown. So let's finish with what is an ideal day look like to you. So an ideal day to me has gym and a lot of work. That's why right now I don't have ideal days, to be fair, because I don't have anything to do throughout the days besides YouTube and trading. To me, it's waking up, going to the charts, seeing what the market is presenting, go to the gym, even though right now I've been going to the gym at night, but I would rather go to the gym in the morning than trade in the afternoon, do any video recordings if needed, or take care of trading and other businesses in the middle, and then go to sleep at like 10 p.m., wake up at 7 a.m. The thing is that here in Dubai, I've been going to sleep at like midnight, 1 a.m. and waking up like at 10. So again, it's the thing. So yeah, that's really it. I don't really have an ideal day, which is a problem. But yeah, once I have more things going on in my life, maybe I will have more of an ideal day. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I was able to answer some of your questions. Hope I was able to also explain the prop firm side of things. Again, links in the description if you guys want to check some of them out. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next week. Bye.